My mother was the Queen for a very long time. And although you kind of know that this might happen, you don't really think about it very much.
No one bows and curses the king, and no one moves a limb when Camilla passes by. People want a royal who actually epitomises what their country stands for. After years of tension and conflict, Camilla's removal from Buckingham Palace appears to be a real possibility. And, reportedly, Princess Anne made a comment that set it all in motion. It was a revealing comment that triggered the decision. Though Anne hasn't been openly hostile, there are growing signs that she's not alone in her feelings. Princess Kate seems to share a similar stance on Camilla, which only supports the move. So, how did things get to this point, and what roles are Princess Anne and Kate playing? Behind the scenes, join us as we examine Princess Anne's shocking revelation and the brewing tension inside the palace doors that has apparently sent Queen Camilla packing. There's serious tension in the palace. The royal family isn't as perfect as it seems on screen. Behind the scenes, they make careful efforts to maintain a flawless public image. But there are also hidden tensions and power struggles. Family members must constantly balance their own personal feelings with their duties to the crown. The media watches them, constantly making sure that every single action is scrutinised. This pressure to uphold family loyalty and public duty can certainly create issues. This can sometimes lead to bitter conflicts and serious tension within the royal family. These behind-the-scenes struggles are a long way from the glamorous image they portray, and this time it looks like the princesses are in a direct standoff with the Queen. Queen Consort Camilla and Princess Anne are at the forefront of this entire dispute. Lately, Anne has stepped up to voice her opinions about the Queen, and she certainly doesn't seem to be mincing her words. Apparently, Anne believes Camilla is completely unfit to rule the British monarchy as Queen. As such, she is urging everyone not to refer to her as Queen. This stance comes from the fact that Camilla and her brother-in-law, King Charles, had an affair while Princess Diana was still alive. But could that really be all it is? From history books, we have all heard numerous scandalous stories about royals, like King George IV's marriage to the Catholic widow Maria Fitzherbert, or King Henry VIII's quest for a male heir, which led him to start the English Reformation just to annul his marriage, to Catherine of Aragon, and so many more. So it is safe to say that very few royals have a perfectly clean history. So how is Princess Anne's view of Camilla any different? We will get to that, but first, let's get an overview of what the British royal family is really like. You should know that while the royals might project a polished image to the public, they have plenty of dark secrets and have long been a hotbed of tension and power struggles. The fact that they are able to maintain the illusion that everything is fine between them is what makes them so interesting to so many people around the world. The drama surrounding the British royal family is nothing new. It goes back for many generations, from deep-seated rivalries and shocking affairs to whispered betrayals and hidden feuds. History has truly seen it all. Yet this latest chapter in the royal saga is one that nobody could have possibly predicted. At the very heart of this new controversy are King Charles, Camilla, the princes, the princesses, and nearly the entire royal family. Their every move is being watched closely by the public. From their official appearances to even the smallest exchange of glances, every detail is being analysed for any sign of tension. This constant scrutiny has ignited a never-ending cycle of speculation, which creates all sorts of rumours about alliances, grudges, and even power plays that are unfolding behind the palace walls. The public's appetite for royal drama is absolutely clear, and the royals know this all too well. That's why they've so carefully crafted their public image over many years. However, despite the elegant exterior, all is not as perfect as it looks inside Buckingham Palace. It's fair to say the cracks in the royal family really became more obvious, with Camilla's rise from being Charles's controversial partner to eventually becoming his queen consort. Her ascent to the throne didn't just cause a split in public opinion, it also created resentment among members of the royal family itself. This very resentment is at the core of the current problems we are now seeing, and it's what we will explore here. Adding even more fuel to this already tense situation are Harry and Meghan, whose exit from royal duties has only intensified the public's obsession with the royals. Their recent interviews, often quite critical of the family, just complicate the monarchy's attempts to maintain its polished public image. Despite the royal family's skill at maintaining an outwardly united appearance, conflict is definitely not a stranger to them. But what we are seeing today seems to run far deeper than the usual royal squabbles. What once looked like normal, family disagreements have now escalated into a much more profound and consequential issue. The current situation is now something that could actually reshape the entire royal family as we know it. At the centre of this bitter conflict lies Princess Anne. Apparently she has made a shocking revelation about Camilla, pointing her out as one of the major threats to the royal system. This stunning revelation has made the monarchy reconsider Camilla's position, and they may have come to a conclusion to remove her from the royal family entirely. The current situation inside Buckingham Palace is anything but simple, with countless potential outcomes. Even those of us watching from the outside are struggling to follow all the rapidly unfolding events. It has become increasingly obvious that within the royal family there are members who may not fully support or respect Camilla's new role as Queen Consort. Despite the family's carefully polished public image, tensions about her position have begun to surface, sparking speculation about the future of the monarchy and its internal dynamics. From past experience, Princess Anne and Princess Kate are known as more peaceful and duty-conscious members of the royal family. While Anne spends nearly all of her time fulfilling royal duties, Kate is seen as the most stable presence in the family, and she rarely gets involved in controversy. So how did this specific duo end up having a say in Camilla's fate at Buckingham Palace? This is the part where things really start to get interesting. When you examine the relationships within Buckingham Palace, you can clearly see that Camilla and Princess Anne are not exactly the best of friends. In fact, it's not just Camilla. Princess Anne's stern beliefs and her no-nonsense attitude often make it quite difficult for her to form very close bonds inside the family. Her principles and commitment to duty have guided her entire royal career, and it's this very dedication that has earned her a respected place in the family. Because of her approach, every member recognises her contributions and gives her the respect she has rightfully earned over the years. But herein lies the problem. While Anne's approach to her duties has been praiseworthy, she has also proven herself to be an extremist when it comes to the affairs of the monarch. That being said, Princess Anne is always determined to eliminate any obstacle that might pose a threat to the royal family, and she has expressed some strong reservations. She has serious doubts about Queen Camilla's position and her overall suitability as Queen Consort, revealing concerns about Camilla's influence over King Charles. There's also her controversial past, especially her role in the turbulent relationship between Charles and the late Princess Diana, and as far as Anne is concerned, the biggest threat that the royal family currently faces is the Queen Consort Camilla. This viewpoint became public right after a confrontation she had with Queen Camilla. It happened at the coronation dinner, and the argument was so heated it became clear Camilla's influence has been declining in the eyes of the other royals. While it's uncertain just how far back these tensions have been brewing, we certainly saw how deep the fault lines within the family run as Charles ascended the throne. But is it only Princess Anne who seems to stand against Camilla? Does Princess Kate disapprove of Camilla? Well, not exactly. Another key member of the family who plays a huge role in this dynamic is Princess Kate, who is known for her calm demeanour and very diplomatic approach. She has mostly stayed out of the controversy that surrounds Camilla, however. Her silence could be a sign of her discomfort with the whole situation. While she hasn't openly criticised Camilla, her actions and her distinct lack of vocal support suggest that, like Anne, she may not fully embrace Camilla's role. The family holds values like duty service and privacy very dear, but tradition remains their most cherished value, a bond to their royal ancestry upheld through, observing tradition which reinforces their identity. However, a break in tradition could quickly cause chaos in Buckingham Palace, and this is exactly what's happening. The royal family is facing that chaos now. During the coronation, Kate failed to curtsy to Camilla, an act which is symbolic of much deeper tensions, and such gestures, or lack thereof, continue to fuel speculation and controversy. It all comes down to tradition. You see, among royals, bowing or curtsying is a gesture of respect, but it isn't completely restricted to just that. Aside from being a respectful gesture, it is also a ritual and a duty that is done to show the hierarchy of the royals within the monarchy. In theory, what this means is that from the way the royals bow to each other, you should be able to tell who is higher in the ranking of the royal system. According to Hello magazine, Kate Middleton's actions during the coronation were watched very closely, and her choice not to curtsy was interpreted by some as a subtle signal of her personal reservations about Camilla's role as Queen Consort. However, it's crucial to note that no official statements or reports have confirmed such tensions. Instead, Kate's behaviour may align with a broader trend of modernising the monarchy's image and practices, and by opting for a more subtle gesture, like a simple nod. She might have been balancing tradition with practicality, ensuring her actions were respectful without seeming overly stuffy. As it stands, Camilla the Queen. Consort ranks much higher than Princess Kate, so it was expected that she would curtsy when she met Camilla, and then again after they had departed. But that never happened. Instead, Kate simply nodded at the Queen Consort in a subtle way when they met. For many, this gesture can be easily overlooked, but that doesn't mean it's excusable. And besides, this is Princess Kate Middleton we are talking about here. Being married to Prince William and rising to become the Duchess of Cambridge and the Princess of Wales, she has had every opportunity to learn all the traditions of the British royal family, from public events to private family gatherings. Royal tradition has always been her life. It has completely surrounded her. Yet here she was, boldly looking the Queen Consort in the eye and disregarding one of the most critical protocols, bowing. In truth, this snub could only mean one thing to both the family and the public. Princess Kate does not approve of Camilla's position as Queen Consort. It is quite possible the whole scenario would have played out very differently if it had been Lady Diana as Queen Consort, wouldn't you agree? One thing we've come to realise is that most of the royals don't seem to truly like Camilla, especially with how she got to the throne. From time to time, it's not just the royals, but the public can't help but wonder, what if it was Lady Diana as Queen Consort? Things might have turned out very differently, and there would have been far less tension in Buckingham Palace. When all things are considered, things could have been different with the princes too. Perhaps Prince Harry wouldn't have left the palace, and the brothers wouldn't have had so many constant conflicts. So let's imagine the princess approached Camilla with this exact mindset, which could explain why she acted the way she did. Still, we are trying very hard not to make any excuses for Princess Kate here. As things stand, Princess Kate will most likely be the future Queen Consort once Prince William becomes king. Basically, she is, setting an example for those who come after her in the line of succession. That being said, it really wouldn't be fair to always put feelings first before making decisions relating to royal affairs. Instead, she is supposed to make personal sacrifices to ensure that there is absolute law and order within Buckingham Palace. While we are on the topic of what caused the snub, let's not rule out the possibility that she might have just decided to disregard bowing entirely. Of course, as we now know, the royal monarchy system has been going through a sort of transformation in recent years with King Charles at the helm of it all. Their goal is to ensure their way of operating can somehow fall in line with how things are done in the 21st century. Due to these changes, we expect that the royal family will drop a couple of old laws or ideologies and adopt newer ones that can somehow ease into the current way of life. Still, while they are trying to do this, the aim is to ensure that this shift doesn't compromise the core values that define the British monarchy. That said, it is possible that bowing is one tradition on the chopping block, but looking from the outside, it seems the public has a very different take on Kate's decision. In an era where royals are expected to modernise, some people find this move quite refreshing. When a member of the royal family dares to stand out and defy rigid protocols, it's a big deal. For them, this rebellion shows that indeed there are royals with their own minds, not just puppets following centuries-old rule-books of tradition and values. Basically, it all comes down to what people find relatable and authentic in the royal family. But, on the other hand, it doesn't change the fact that there are a whole lot of passionate believers in the royal system who truly value the formality and structure that these gestures represent. To them, the act of curtsying isn't just about respect for one person, but about upholding traditions centuries old. As such, they believe that no royal should ever think they're above these traditions that have lasted for generations. Instead, as their family influence grows, everyone is expected to be even more deliberate about their stance on the monarchy's protocols, even with everything that's expected from the princess. It's safe to say this controversy with Camilla is more than a question of manners. It's a look at how the monarchy might evolve over time. This subtle transition will probably continue as the younger generation rises up. How fast will that happen? Well, that really depends on the rate of acceptance within the royal family. And speaking of royals, who might be finding it hard to accept just about anyone new in Buckingham Palace, it appears Princess Anne has also shown a great deal of displeasure towards Camilla. How did things get so sour for Camilla, and what did she do to offend Princess Anne? The royal drama just gets better, so make sure you don't miss out on these juicy details. Let's get into the controversies surrounding Queen Consort Camilla. As Queen Consort, she has been a figure plagued by controversy for much of her life, mainly due to her relationship with King Charles III and its impact on his first marriage to Princess Diana. Over the years, she has faced plenty of criticism and some praise, but her past continues to define public perception of her. The most infamous controversy surrounding Camilla is her long-running affair with Charles while he was married to Princess Diana. Their relationship actually began before his marriage to Diana, and even though Charles married Diana in 1981, the affair carried on. This caused immense strain on the royal marriage and led to intense public scrutiny. Diana herself famously referred to Camilla as the third person in her marriage, and the media often portrayed Camilla as the cause of the royal marriage's eventual breakdown. In 1994, Charles admitted to the affair during a televised interview with Jonathan Dimbleby. This confession of infidelity was a total bombshell at the time and further destroyed both his and Camilla's public reputations. The public's reaction to Camilla was deeply hostile, as many people, particularly Diana's supporters, saw her as the reason for the royal divorce in 1996. For many years, Camilla was incredibly unpopular in the UK. The British public had a powerful attachment to Princess Diana, and Camilla was seen as the woman who broke up the beloved royal marriage. It wasn't until after Diana's tragic death in 1997 that the public slowly began to soften its view of Camilla. However, her reputation was still in tatters, and she was rarely seen in public during those early years of her relationship with Charles. As Charles and Camilla's relationship became more open, many people still saw her as a very divisive figure. Although she was often at royal events, her presence was met with mixed feelings from the public, especially from those loyal to Diana's memory. It wasn't until her marriage to Charles in 2005 that the royal family finally made an effort to officially recognise Camilla's position, giving her the title Princess Consort instead of Queen Consort, as it was felt the British public was not ready to accept her as the Queen. The decision to call Camilla Princess Consort rather than Queen Consort was another controversy that fueled ongoing discussions about her real place in the royal family. When Charles ascended to the throne in 2022, it was announced Camilla would become Queen Consort, a move that was met with predictably mixed reactions. Some of Diana's supporters who still felt passionately about the past expressed their outrage over Camilla assuming the title of Queen Consort, arguing that she was not a worthy replacement for Diana. Although the decision to grant her the title of Queen was officially made by Charles, it continued to stir up furious debates in the media. For many people, especially those who had adored Diana, the idea of Camilla taking the role of Queen was seen as a deep betrayal of Diana's legacy. Over the years, Camilla has tried to forge her own path in the royal family, often focusing on her charity work and public duty. She has supported various causes like literacy programs and animal welfare, and has built her own reputation as a charity patron. Despite this, her past has always cast a shadow over her actions, as critics remain doubtful of her role and motives. In recent years, Camilla has worked hard to be seen as a positive figure within the royal family. Her charity work, particularly supporting victims of domestic violence, has helped improve her public image. She has also worked to distance herself from the controversial aspects of her past, concentrating on her charitable efforts and public duties. However, despite all this, there are still some people who continue to view her with skepticism, especially those who feel the royal family's history with Diana was just swept under the rug. In addition to the real-life controversies, Camilla's image has been shaped by her portrayals in the media. In particular, films and television shows like The Crown it has dramatized her affair with Charles and its awful impact on Diana, constantly keeping the controversy at the very center of public attention. These portrayals have consistently painted Camilla as a manipulative schemer, which has only added to the public's very mixed feelings about her character. Her depiction in the media has always been a source of major tension, with critics arguing that it ignores her significant charity work and the person she is today. But the reality of her past is impossible to ignore, and the endless focus on her affair with Charles and Diana's tragic death ensures that she remains a hot-button topic. Camilla is still a divisive figure, and as Queen Consort, she has worked tirelessly to establish herself as a vital member of the royal family. Her legacy is undeniably linked to her past, and public opinion of her is still heavily influenced by the history she shares with Charles and her role in the divorce. That role in the complete breakdown of his marriage to Diana. With time, however, some people have come to accept Camilla's position, recognizing she's truly grown into it. While the controversies from her past are likely to linger forever, it's become clear that Camilla has played an absolutely crucial role in shaping the monarchy we see today. In shaping the modern monarchy, her story is one of sheer perseverance and redemption, as she has worked to overcome her controversial past and carve out a new future. A new future for herself inside the royal family. Despite the scandals, she has dutifully served and supported charitable causes, making her an incredibly important and key figure in the British monarchy. Camilla's entire life and her place in the royal family have been defined by controversy, starting with her affair with Prince Charles. All the way to her role as Queen Consort, her legacy is a complicated one. However, her dedication to charity and her current position in the royal family prove that she's fought hard to reshape her image. The scandals will probably follow her, but they are just one part of the larger story of a woman who's walked a complex and often difficult path. So what are your thoughts? Do you really think Princess Anne has justifiable reasons to resent Camilla? Tell us exactly what you think down in the comments section, and please remember to like, share and subscribe for more. Also click the video that's on your screen right now. You are definitely going to enjoy it.